Hello there. It just gets worse, doesn't it? We've left one health emergency behind, only to find that our own scientists are creating a new risk of epic proportions. When will it stop? Probably never, because the Pandora's box of science has been well and truly opened, and ethics no longer applies to those seeking scientific truths. The upshot is that a scientific paper was published on January the 4th relating to research that appears to have been going on since 2017, or at least 2020 to 2021. And as you know, it's now 2024. And this paper reveals that the scientists concerned managed to somehow cultivate a virus in their laboratory called GXP2V that not only attacks the brain, but also does so with 100% mortality. Now, this stuff was given to mice, but not ordinary mice. These are transgenic mice. That is, they've been humanised to react like humans would to these procedures. But worse, the virus was found in the lungs, nose and brain of those mice. And Dr. John Campbell, who has covered this very thoroughly in his video, points out that this would mean the virus would be air transmissible. And if I read it right, he was talking about a 7 to 8 day incubation period. So a new virus that can easily spread, that has the potential to wipe us all out, has been created. And you thought those stay-at-home orders from governments around the world were bad the last time. And you thought the 100% legal mandate for everyone to have an arm intervention had gone away. Now, according to the report, this new virus just came out of the cultivation process. It wasn't something they aimed at creating. But it now exists. The technology to create this stuff exists. The knowledge is now out there. The Dr. Evils of the earth will be ecstatic. But when was this created? Last week? Or 2 or more years ago? Have all the samples and the mice now been safely destroyed? Or are specimens sat in fridges waiting to wreak their havoc at the first minor slip by a lab technician? Now, the researchers say this was the result of them looking for spillover risks from known viruses. But Dr. Campbell questions that, pointing out this was created in the lab. And further, not only is such research questionable, so is the use of technology to turn mice into humanised mice. Now, this is one lab that produces reports. How many other labs are out there doing the same sort of thing within jurisdictions where such results would never see the light of day? Unless and until it is required for some sort of use against an enemy, maybe. So what will the response to this new virus be? Will we see another warp speed race to come up with some sort of medical procedure to protect us all from it? Will we see that procedure becoming mandatory for all to ensure that the human race is protected from an extinction event should this bug get loose? And the argument would be that the planet needs to be proactive and get ahead of this before it gets loose. We can't wait for the calamity to occur, they will say. Because the second any such thing was known to be on the loose, mass panic would occur. It would shut the global economy down in seconds. But I suppose this was inevitable given scientific advances. And because the number of dodgy regimes out there, we have to look at this stuff to keep ahead of others less ethically minded than us. Although looking at the modern world, I think ethics drained away many moons ago. If it was, in fact, anything other than a fig leaf to protect the rich and powerful in the first place. And the rich and powerful are very good at deflecting from the elephant in the room. Just take a look at a Guardian report from yesterday, which asks the very pertinent question regarding the recent increase in pre- and post-birth death of mothers. The number of women dying during pregnancy or soon after childbirth has reached its highest level in almost 20 years, according to new data. Experts have described the figures as very worrying, says the Guardian report. The maternal death rate has increased from 8.79 per 100,000 pregnancies to 13.41, and blood clots appear to be the main problem. But one cause seems not to have been investigated, and you'll know exactly which medical intervention I'm talking about. Now there's an elephant in the room chomping all the food and depositing the remnants out of its rear end all over the place. And one of the occupants of the room notices the whiff and asks if anyone could open a window, please, while looking around the room for the offending culprit, but ignoring the elephant that no one wants to see. And when the whiff persists, another asks if someone left the loo door open, while another calls a plumber to look at the drains. You get the idea. Look at everything that is acceptable to look at, and question that which it is acceptable to question. But avoid that which must not be questioned at all costs. All costs. Even if it causes misery or worse. And that does not just apply to the medical scientists. Just look at the Post Office Horizon scandal. This is exactly the same. There was a large elephant in every single post office putting out an almighty stench. And no stone was left unturned to sort out all those deficient accounts. Well, no stone was left unturned except for the one item that must not be questioned, the Fujitsu Horizon computer program. Do not mention that, do not question that. It is perfect, and no one must even mention it as a potential cause. And look what that has quite clearly done to so many people. Lives lost and damaged beyond repair. All because those rich and powerful people did not, for some as yet unclear reason, allow anyone to question the Horizon system. And by not doing a full audit on the Horizon software, that elephant included not chasing down where that supposed shortfall in money really went. And no one asked the basic question of, if these people really were thieves, surely they would have stopped their evil ways at the first sniff of Horizon flagging these problems up. But they didn't, did they? And so many other questions circle about this saga. All because the elephant in the room must be allowed to continue wandering about, trampling on people's lives and leaving huge dumps of whiffy material behind them. And when you stand back and look at Westminster and Whitehall, together with all their occupants, you get the distinct impression that there is a rather large herd of elephants tramping about the corridors of power. A growing herd of elephants. I think it's time for a mass clear-out. Don't you?